EQ Video Tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter, and as always, we're glad to have you back for another edition of this week's EQ Video Tip. Before we jump into this week's tip, let's review the goals of EQ Video Tip. Welcome back. What's on tap today? Well, I need to make a decision and I can't figure out what to do. That's what we're going to talk about, how to make a great decision. And Nick Hobson talks to us today about the Eisenhower 4-quadrant matrix on how to make good decisions, how to figure out the urgency versus the importance of them and when to make those decisions. We're going to jump in and go through the different steps to figure out how to make a decision and when to make a decision and how important it is to defer certain ones versus making a snap decision. Let's jump in right now. So how do we make decisions? We're going to go through the Eisenhower matrix of urgent, yes or no, as well as important, yes or no. That's going to create a matrix for us with 4 different areas where we can decide if it's urgent or important. Let's go through the different types of quadrants that they have out there so that you can understand how to make your decisions in a better way. Tip number 2, urgent and important. That means we have to go do something, be proactive. If something falls into the category that's urgent and important, the decision is pretty simple. We have to decide something and be proactive to avoid crises and maintain a proactive approach to your responsibility. So as you're going through, if you see something that's urgent and important in your mind, you're making a do decision right then and there. Tip number 3, important but not urgent. In this case, we're going to decide. We're going to take time to think about it and dedicate activity time to figuring out what's the right decision, what we need to do, foster innovation, growth for the team, and of course, long-term success. These decisions can be made, but they don't necessarily have to be made right then and right there or executed right away. It's better to think about them, figure out the best way for long-term success, and then decide how to move forward. Our next tip, urgent but not important. Well, those, it's pretty simple. We just delegate them. Delegation is a great thing for leaders to do, especially tasks that take up time or distractions to the day-to-day and reduce your productivity. If you can easily delegate something and it's urgent, awesome, because it's not that important that you are part of the decision-making process. It frees up your time to think big and do other ideas that will help the team in the long term. So again, urgent but not important, delegate it to someone else. Our last tip, not urgent, not important. Guess what? Delete them. These are things that might waste your time, like social media or just something that you fall prey to, like action addictions that you don't need to do. Effective leaders, they recognize what's important and what's not, and they minimize their distractions on a day-to-day basis while they focus on the tasks that mean something to growing the team and freeing up time for them. So make sure when you have some of those distractions, hit delete and get rid of them. That's a wrap for this week's EQ tip. Hopefully you can use this matrix to prioritize what decisions you're going to make and when you're going to make them. And more importantly, how you should make them as well. Use this to help you out on a day-to-day basis. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.